Hello and welcome back to day 6 of your 7-day challenge. We are so close, we only have 2 days left. And by day 6, you've had 5 days of exercise consistently and your body's probably ready for another day of recovery. So we're gonna enjoy today as we give ourselves a nice stretch and flexibility session for our 6th day. So to get set up, if you've got a mat, go ahead, grab that mat, get it reached out. That's all you need for equipment. And if you prefer to do your stretch, as I am today, barefoot, take those shoes off. You don't need them today. If you'd rather have your shoes on though, go ahead, you can leave them on. No big deal. Whatever makes you the most comfortable. So go ahead and get set up, and then we'll get right into it. Okay, we're gonna begin our stretch like we did the other day with some nice breath work. So taking a few breaths in, exhale, breathing right down to the belly. Let's lift our arms with that breath. Inhale. Exhale. Just like that. Deep breath in, lift up. Exhale. Adding on. Take a deep breath in. Breathe up. From your hips, bend your hips, lean forward. Hold here, deep breath in. Exhale. Sweep your hands, stand up tall, breathe in. Stay here, breathe out. Stay here, breathe in one more time, reach tall. Fold forward, bend at your hips. Hang out here, relax your neck. Breathe up. One more time, just like that. Exhale, fold forward. Stay here. And I'll turn sideways so you can see better. You want to get really heavy in your feet and heavy in the crown of your head. You can have as much bend in your knees as you need here. Melting your chest towards your thigh. Letting your hands hang wherever they do. And now walk your hands out towards the front of the mat and walk your feet back. Downward dog. And start to pedal out those feet. So bending one knee towards the mat as the opposite heel lowers down. Just shifting that weight, softening your joints. Easy flow here. Come into the center. Drop your heels towards the mat. Take one more big breath in. Exhale out. Lower your knees down to the mat. Take the tops of your feet, put them on top of the mat, and let your hips move back towards your heels. And then just let your chest fold over your thighs. Now, if that's too deep in your knees and it feels better to keep your hips lifted, that's okay. Take your forehead down to your hands. And if it's comfortable to sit your hips right back on your heels, do that. And just sink into your mat. Take your hands, place them back on the mat. Come up onto all four. Let's take cat-cow. Take a deep breath in, round your spine. And then the other way. Exhale, tuck under one more. Look up. And then come into a neutral spine. Keeping your hands under your shoulders. Taking your weight slightly backwards and slightly forwards. Just getting some wrist mobility. You're not moving so far that it hurts, but it's enough that you feel it through your wrists. Lots of us don't spend much time stretching and making some mobility happen through our wrists. But when you start doing things like push-ups in that position, you might notice a little more strain in your wrists. This is a great way to help strengthen and mobilize your wrists. Come into center. Then start some circles, making big circles with your shoulders around your wrists, just moving in a range of motion that you're in control and isn't causing pain. And then go back the other way. Nice, come into the center. Hold nice and steady. Good work. Staying here, take one hand and then take some nice big arm circles all the way around. And then pause and go the other direction. Moving slowly through that range of motion and at a nice consistent speed. So in the spots that feel a little sticky, try not to rush through them. Move through them nice and slow and steady. Take that hand under your shoulder, shift your weight, and begin those arm circles on the other side. And then just like before, switch directions. Circle around the other way. Good job. Tuck on all fours. Deep breath in. Exhale. And now let's take that into our hips. So shift your legs, bring your knee up to the side, and then draw a great big circle with your knee, with your shin in a nice straight line out from your knee. Let's pause. Go the other way, nice big circles. Good job. Take that knee, plunk it back down on the mat. Balance out. Lift the other knee and start those big circles. Just noticing and paying attention to where you're maybe feeling some points that are harder to move through, or maybe there's some clicking there for you. Switch the other direction. Just continuing to move through those, giving the joint some good range of motion. Bringing your knee back down. Great work. One more stretch in this position. Take one hand and slide it underneath your chest, top of your hand on the floor, bend the outside elbow, and just come down as low as is comfortable for you. If you can come right down to the ground, great. If that's too far, just come as far as you can and use that other hand for support. Deep breath in. Full exhale. Come on back up. Take the other hand, slide it under, top of the hand slides along the floor, as low as is comfortable for you. That feels like a stretch without any pain. Good job. Press into that stable hand, press back up, plant your hands down, tuck your toes, and then set your hips back towards your feet. Walk your hands back. Remember this from our third day. Hips back towards your heels, staying here, or maybe walking up on the thigh. Exhale, releasing through those feet, breathing through the discomfort. Exhale. Good job. And then coming all the way up onto your knees, turning to the side here. Take one leg out to the side and take your foot flat on the mat. The other hand comes into your hip. Reach all the way up and over, looking up to the ceiling. Feeling that all the way through your side body. Maybe into the hips on the extended leg. Deep breath. And then come all the way up. Bring your hand in. Take that knee now, tuck it underneath. Take the other foot up. Take your foot flat to the ground, soft knees. Hands stable on your hip. Reach up and over, looking up to the ceiling. Opening up. Take one more breath. Release, bring that hand down. Great work. Bend that knee down. Sit down on your hips and then bring your knees up in front. Easing yourself all the way into a tall seated position. Bend one foot in. And from your hips, take your hands up above your head and hinge at the hips. Lean forward until you feel like you've stopped. And then just let the hands lower wherever that is. Maybe it's shin, maybe it's ankle, maybe it's toe. Wherever that works for you, take a breath. And then exhale, see if you can come down a little further. One more breath. Exhale, melt your forehead down towards your mat. And walk your hands back. Switching legs, take the other leg nice and long. Bring that foot in close to your thigh or the knee, wherever it sits comfortably. Sit up tall, reach your hands up from the hips, hinge forward. And when you start to feel like you've stopped, lower your hands, hold your shin, your ankle, your toe, wherever it works for you. Exhale to get a little lower. On your last exhale here, melt your forehead towards your shin. Walk your hands back. Great work. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let the knees drop open. And then take a deep breath in. Exhale as you fold from your hips. Soften your shoulders. Take one more breath here. And as you exhale, round your back, let your forehead drop towards your toes. Sit all the way up, nice and tall. Bring the knees together. Walk your feet out slightly. And then lay back down onto your back. Maintaining this nice long spine. Take one foot up to the ceiling. Flex your feet. Take the other foot, cross it over top of your leg, and reach through for the hamstring. You can use your elbow to help ease that knee open a little. The closer you bring that to your chest, the more you're going to feel it down into the outside of the glutes. Now take your extended leg and just bend the knee a little. Take your hands out to the side. Let your bottom foot come down to the ground. And let your top foot move towards the ground. It doesn't matter if that foot gets all the way to the ground or just part way. You want to feel that all the way across the hip, through the glutes, with a nice gentle twist through your midsection. Look the opposite direction. Bring your head steady. Bring your foot flat on the mat. And now let's switch sides. Take the top foot, down to the ground. Lift that same foot now up straight towards the ceiling, starting that whole thing on the other side. Take the bent knee, cross that leg over top, and take your hands between for the hamstring. And then just ease that whole thing towards your chest. So you're trying to bring your shin a little closer to the chest, but keeping the spine long along the mat. Ease into that. Every exhale, an opportunity to go a little deeper. And then bending that top knee. Take your hands out. Lower your foot down to the ground. And then rotate that top foot towards the floor. Can go all the way to the floor, or maybe it just goes part way, doesn't matter. But your shoulder blades are firm on the mat. The hip that's lifted, continue to draw that hip towards the floor. And then look the opposite direction. Look back up to the ceiling. Bring your foot flat on the floor. Bring both feet together and just let the knees drop open. Just let gravity let them sink towards the ground, not actively forcing them, just melting them, letting them release on their own. Take both knees, stack them one on top of each other. Take the other arm across and sit yourself all the way back up seated. Coming into a nice cross-legged seated position, comfortably sitting however is comfortable for you. And then just taking your hands, wrapping them around and giving yourself a great big hug. And then moving to one side, hold. Back to the center. Rotate to the other side. Back to the center. Open up your hands and switch directions. Big hug. Lifting your elbows in line with your shoulders. Move one direction. Back to the center. In the other direction. Take your hands, extend them out in front of you. So the backs of the hands are against each other. Put some pressure on the back of the palm, open up behind the shoulders. And then switch hands. Just enough pressure on the backs of the palm to feel that behind your shoulders. Release your hands, walk your fingertips behind you, lift your chest. Just take your hands as far back as you need to be able to push into your fingertips, lift your chest, draw your shoulders back, open up your whole front body. Release, send your breath all the way down to your belly. Take one more breath. Exhale fully. Nicely done. Release. Great work. You should feel nice and relaxed, nice and long, and all stretched out, and ready after this 6th exercise day to head into our last and final day. So I will see you back here for day 7 tomorrow to finish off this challenge. We'll see you then.